Well, the authoritarian thug piece of shit continues to seek revenge on his political opponents. We just learned that New York Attorney General Letitia James has been indicted by the Department of Justice. Specifically, she was indicted by the U.S. attorney who Donald Trump just put into that job. What's her name? Lindsay Halligan. This after the prior U.S. attorney resigned, or Donald Trump would say was fired, but the guy resigned before Trump could fire him. And the reason he's gone is because he refused to indict Letitia James. And by the way, he refused to indict James Comey because he said there was no probable cause or insufficient probable cause to indict either one of them. And so he refused. You know, as a prosecutor, as an officer of the court, he is required to only bring charges when he believes there is probable cause to do so. And further, not just probable cause, a prosecutor, in order to bring charges, must believe that the evidence is so strong that not only is there probable cause to indict, but that you anticipate that there is enough evidence to win a conviction, meaning proof beyond a reasonable doubt. And so the former acting U.S. attorney, because he wasn't confirmed by the Senate, refused to bring charges. And so Donald Trump got rid of him and put in his place this Lindsay Halligan, who is completely unqualified to be a U.S. attorney. She has no experience whatsoever in criminal law. She never was a prosecutor. In fact, the first criminal case she ever handled in her life was to indict the former FBI director, James Comey, on the last day that he could be indicted, because one more day and the statute of limitations was going to run. That's why she indicted him so quickly. This is, it goes without saying, authoritarian shit. This is what it looks like when you have a dictator in office who doesn't give a damn about the law and he has people around him willing to do his bidding. Now, I fully anticipate that James Comey will be fully exonerated. I don't think his case will ever even get to trial. I think he is likely to prevail on a pretrial motion to dismiss, either for malicious prosecution, which obviously the case against him is, or because this Lindsay Halligan woman is constitutionally and legally ineligible to be U.S. attorney. She wasn't confirmed by the Senate, and there is a law, a federal statute, that allows for the president to put in office an acting U.S. attorney only for so long, and then after that, any acting U.S. attorney loses their job. They can't continue in that role. And at that point, if the president hasn't nominated someone and got confirmed by the Senate, then the district court can put in place a U.S. attorney until the president nominates someone and they can get Senate confirmation. The problem for Lindsay Halligan is that there was an acting attorney, U.S. attorney, who had already run the full statutory period, and therefore Trump couldn't put in another acting U.S. attorney. So they're going to, Comey and I expect Letitia James are going to challenge their indictments on the basis that this woman was not qualified to be U.S. attorney. Now, Letitia James, I don't know when this alleged offense occurred. I don't know when the statute of limitations is. And I actually don't know if Lindsay Halligan signed off on that indictment. Her office brought the charge. But anyway, this is sick shit. There are going to be more people who are prosecuted. Letitia James definitely, by the way, has the same sort of malicious prosecution sort of defense that James Comey has, and she may prevail on that, because you remember, it was just last week, or within the last couple of weeks, where Trump posted that message to Pam Bondi on Truth Social, which, by the way, we now have learned was in fact a mistake. He meant it to be a private message on Truth Social to Pam Bondi, which also, by the way, violates the Presidential Records Act. You're not allowed to, you have to communicate only in such ways that those communications can be archived. Here he is doing direct messages to his Attorney General on Truth Social. Anyway, he directed her to indict James Comey, Letitia James, and others. Clearly, this is a slam dunk case of malicious prosecution. So Letitia James will be able to argue that. But this is sick shit. And let me tell you something else. When this is all done, assuming we survive this whole this authoritarian would-be dictatorship that he's trying to create here, and I believe that we will. It may get ugly, but I think we will survive this in some fashion. The people who followed his illegal orders need to be held fully accountable under law, even if he's not. And I have not given up on the possibility that he will be, because he is committing a lot of crimes that are not covered by the Supreme Court's immunity decision. But regardless, whether or not he ultimately faces justice, the people who followed his illegal orders need to be prosecuted. Absolutely, that needs to happen. And people like Lindsay Halligan, this woman needs to be disbarred. And let's hope that that happens. This woman not only is unqualified, but she is clearly bringing malicious prosecutions that are not predicated on probable cause. She should not be a prosecutor. She should no longer be a lawyer. She should lose her license. And if there's a way to charge her with a crime, she needs to be charged with a crime as well. This is sick shit. Anyway, more to come. Thanks for watching.